Here's the truth. Attraction isn't born from wealth, kindness, or courtesy. It emerges from the deepest part of the primitive brain, where in a fraction of a second, a woman decides whether you're unforgettable or invisible. Centuries ago, Machiavelli revealed it. Humans are moved by power, fear, and desire. That's why the good man is often ignored, while the one who radiates contained danger and calm dominance awakens in her an obsession that cannot be extinguished. In this video, you'll learn the 6 pillars of the dirty method, precise psychological strategies that reprogram her primal responses. Stay until the end, because once you master them, you'll never chase anyone again. You'll become the gravity she cannot escape. The first pillar is movement. Movement means disruption, the art of breaking her rhythm, shattering her mental autopilot, and waking her from emotional sleep. Modern women are constantly surrounded by men, messages, work, attention, but 99% blend into the same predictable background. They text the same lines, laugh the same way, follow the same script. The reptilian brain ignores comfort. It notices contrast, difference, and danger. You must become that difference, not through loud words or forced confidence, but through energy. How you move, enter a space, and disturb the air around you. In a crowded room, most men scream neediness. Then there's you, still, calm, deliberate. You command energy. Your stillness becomes magnetic. Your body doesn't lean toward her. It makes her lean toward you. Your silence doesn't create awkwardness. It creates tension. The kind of silence that makes her wonder, who is this man? That is movement, not physical but psychological, the disruption of what's expected. Machiavelli would have said it best. The prince who repeats the patterns of others is ruled by them, but the prince who disrupts the pattern becomes feared and desired. Her nervous system is always scanning. Predictability equals safety. Unpredictability equals excitement. While safety makes her relax, excitement makes her feel alive. When your presence breaks her mental script, adrenaline releases, her pulse quickens, her breath changes. She can't explain it, but her body feels it before her mind catches up. Curiosity awakens. This man is not like the others. Pay attention. So, how do you apply this? When you walk into a room, slow down. Don't rush to fill the silence. Let your stillness reshape the atmosphere. When you approach a woman, don't follow the script. Say something that interrupts her pattern, not to impress, but to disrupt. Simple, grounded, unexpected. When your eyes meet hers, don't look away too fast. Don't exaggerate the moment. Hold the gaze, steady, calm, unblinking, until she looks away first. Then shift your attention as if you expected her to. The power dynamic changes. You stop being one of many and become the center of gravity. This isn't acting, it's biology. Movement makes her primitive brain see you as a threat. The kind of threat that excites, not harms. The man who moves differently is the man she remembers. The one who breaks her rhythm becomes the man she dreams about. In a world of repetition, the disruptor is unforgettable. The second pillar is attitude. Women don't fall for words, they fall for gravity. Every woman will test you, not for cruelty, but instinct. She'll tease, challenge, pull away, to see if you can hold your center when chaos begins. Most men fail that test. They defend, explain, chase approval. In that instant, she feels weakness. Her attraction dies quietly like a flame starved of air. But the dangerous man doesn't defend, chase, or explain. He doesn't flinch. He allows her energy to crash against his and break like waves against stone. Leadership is not declared. It's felt, like in the animal kingdom. Machiavelli said, "Never explain your authority. Sit on the throne and the throne will speak for you." That's attitude, the invisible crown only real men wear. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. It's knowing who you are and refusing to step down from it. Your body still, voice deliberate, eyes calm, reactions minimal. When she teases, don't defend. When she tests, don't prove anything. When she withdraws, don't chase. Simply watch. Let her feel the weight of your composure. Women crave stability, not validation. Dominance is control over yourself, not her. Attitude is the quiet confidence that bends the energy of the room. Once she feels your steadiness, the tests end. She's no longer questioning your strength, she's surrendering to it. That is the second pillar, attitude. The third pillar is neglect. And here's the paradox. Desire doesn't grow when you give more. It grows when you give less. Modern men destroy attraction by confusing attention with seduction. They think the more they give, the more she'll want them. But biology doesn't work that way. The primitive brain values scarcity and ignores what's abundant. What's common becomes invisible. Today, men flood her with attention, messages, likes, instant replies. And so they all become forgettable. But the man who withholds, who retreats at the highest point, who lets silence sink deep, he becomes unforgettable. That is the art of neglect. Neglect is not cruelty, it's not rejection. It is the elegant discipline of absence. Machiavelli warned, "It is always the absent who are most spoken of." When the moment peaks, when she laughs, when tension rises, that is not when you stay. It's when you leave. Leave her mid-sentence. Leave her smiling. Leave her wondering why the moment ended so soon. At the peak of dopamine, if you vanish, the brain becomes addicted. She replays your words, rereads your messages. In her mind, you never left the room. Her absence becomes hunger. Think of a show that ends every episode on a cliffhanger. You don't keep watching because it's complete. You keep watching because it's not. You must become that cliffhanger in her mind, the unresolved tension she can't stop reliving. To apply this, don't respond instantly. Let silence work. When the energy is high, leave first. Don't let it fade. End the call early. Walk away while the atmosphere is still burning. Neglect used with precision is power. Without purpose, it's just absence. Withdraw when she least expects it, when she's most invested. That's what transforms interest into obsession. What she can't fully have, she can never fully forget. The fourth pillar is boldness. This is where most men collapse. They build attraction, create tension, feel the moment rising, but when the time comes to act, fear takes over. Fear of rejection, fear of ruining the magic, fear of being too much, and in that hesitation the spark dies. Women don't wait for hesitation, they wait for boldness. A man who moves when others freeze. A man who steps forward with clarity and presence. Machiavelli wrote, "Fortune favors the bold, desire is the same. It yields to courage, not fear." Women respond to energy, to timing, to the silent command of a man who steps in when the moment calls. Think of those charged seconds when her gaze lingers, when her breath shifts. Most men overthink. The dangerous man acts. He moves closer, touches her hand, enters her space with quiet certainty. He doesn't ask for permission, he reads the moment. Boldness is not aggression, it's precision. You don't force when her body resists. You don't rush when she's unsure. But when the door opens, you walk through. This is the paradox women never confess. They speak of patience and kindness, but deep in their biology, they ache for boldness, controlled danger, a man who steps forward without fear. That moment separates you from the countless men she forgets. Desire is born from tension, the space between risk and safety. To embody boldness, stop negotiating with fear. Stop imagining failure. The primitive brain senses hesitation instantly. When energy rises, don't dissolve it. Hold it, let silence build. Boldness isn't the absence of fear, it's movement despite fear. If you hesitate, the moment dies. Train yourself to strike when the energy is alive, not when it feels safe. The man who acts with boldness becomes unforgettable.
Because boldness is controlled. It's the calm certainty that says, I know who I am. I know what I want. When you live this way, you leave a mark comfort never could. You become the man she remembers not for chasing her, but for awakening something no one else touched. That is the fourth pillar of desire. The fifth pillar is the magnetic touch. And here's the truth. Words can lie, presence can be faked, but touch never deceives. Before language existed, humans spoke through skin. A hand was a message. A touch was meaning. The body remembers what the mind forgets. Every woman, no matter how modern, is wired to respond to the right touch at the right moment. But most men fail. They touch too soon, too often, too desperately. Their timing is off. Their hands speak need, not power. Attraction doesn't die because of touch. It dies because of when and how touch happens. Machiavelli said the subtle weapon must be sharper than the obvious one-dot touch is that weapon. When done right, it bypasses logic and speaks directly to the reptilian brain. To master it, understand this. Touch is about contrast, not pressure. It's about release, not force. It's not the touch itself, but the silence that follows. Start innocently, a brush on her arm, a guiding hand, a playful tap that lingers one heartbeat longer than necessary. Then withdraw. Let absence speak. When you remove your touch, her body begins to miss it before she realizes why. Move in rhythm, close, distant, contact, pause. Safe, dangerous. Touch, silence. You're not touching skin, you're programming her nervous system. She begins to crave it, not consciously, but biologically. When the right man touches her, oxytocin and dopamine flood her system. It's not romance, it's chemistry. You're etching yourself into her biology. Even when she forgets your words, she remembers your energy. This is the magnetic touch, not invasive, not desperate, but deliberate. A touch that listens, a touch that observes her breath, a touch that says, I could, but I don't have to. Safe yet dangerous, that contradiction drives her wild. It's not just contact, it's a conversation without words. Every pause builds anticipation. Every retreat creates hunger. In that rhythm of presence and absence, you become unforgettable. Any man can touch her body, few ever touch her nervous system, few touch her soul. Once you master this, you'll understand why most men disappear from her memory. But you stay. You become the imprint. The echo. The one her body remembers long after you're gone. That is the fifth pillar, the magnetic touch. The sixth pillar is cold reading. Women crave to be seen, not for the mask they present, but for the truth they hide. Every woman is a fortress of signals. How she dresses, how she pauses, what she avoids. Most men are blind to these patterns. But the dangerous man sees. He listens between sentences. He notices the silence between her smiles. Machiavelli said, to rule men, read their fears. To rule women, read their hidden hunger. And that hunger isn't for attention, it's for understanding. When you notice something she never said aloud, you pierce her performance. Maybe she laughs too loud when nervous, you see it. Maybe she wears bold jewelry to mask insecurity. You note it. Maybe her tone hardens when she feels vulnerable. You reflect it gently. In that moment, she feels exposed, not physically, but emotionally. Seen in a way no other man has seen her. It's terrifying and irresistible. The primal brain craves exposure from someone strong enough to witness truth without judgment. This is why women test men. They don't want perfection. They want depth. They want to know, can he handle the real me? Can he look into my chaos and stay calm? The man who can win her soul, not just her attention,